So, hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you in our today's live session and on our new YouTube platform, special for that is there to target the aspirants of RBI Grade A, Grade B 2025 examination. Now, in today's live session, we will be having a discussion of base year, and you people must have got the information from the Current Affairs magazine and other sources that Government of India is revising the base year not only for GDP calculation, but also for different indexes that we releases for our economy. The index for industrial production, then index for consumer price index, then the base year that we have for GDP calculation. So for all these kind of data that we releases on a macroeconomic level for our economy, government is trying to revise their base years. Now, this is extremely important for a for a perspective of economic student or from a perspective of us parents who is preparing for RBI Grade A or Grade B. Because whatever data we study, whatever data we remember, or whatever data we cram, now it might be for, you can say, for RBI examination or any regulatory body examination, or it might be the data of GDP production, GDP that the GDP evaluation, that the GDP predictions, various data. Then we have the predictions for IIPs. Then we have predictions for uh, consumer price index. So we do remember, we do cram these kind of data before the examination, and these data are extremely important for from our examination point of view, because you can have a question, 1 to 2 marker question from these topics at any point of time in any examination, let it be regulatory body or let it be the banking level examination or any insurance level examination. So it is quite important to know what how these data are getting calculated. If I'm saying that CPI is this much, CPI has increased, CPI was a 10 years low for this particular month, then you must be knowing that how they calculate CPI. Okay? Because the basic fundamental behind the calculation is base year. Just by evaluating, just by changing, just by making differences in base year, you can change the entire scenario of any data or any index, okay, based on a specific base year. So the base year is extremely important. It is important to reflect the proper circumstances or the perfect scenario of our economy at this point of time, and that's why base year is important. So now we will see. Let me present my screen to you people, and then we will go ahead with our discussion. Then we'll get to know that what this base year is all about and why government is trying to update the base year for the calculation of different indexes and GDP predictions that we see. Okay, so I hope the screen must be visible to you people and I must be clearly audible. Now, moving ahead, base year explained why GDP, IIP, and CPI are getting revised. Why it is getting revised? First of all, let me tell you what is the base year. Okay? So, in economics, if you see, the base year is a reference year, is a reference point for comparing economic data over time. For an example, sorry, in a real life, if I'll give you a real life example, then if I'm saying my height has increased by 1 feet in a previous year as compared to previous year, okay, my height has increased to 1 feet as compared to my height that was in the previous year. So that previous year is a base year for me. That previous year is a base year. So base year is nothing, it's just a reference point with whom we compare our progress in any sector. Here, the sector is economic. Okay? So when we utilize a year as a reference point for comparing economic data over time, we call it base year. Okay? For an example, if I'm saying that in 2015, our GDP increased by 7%. Okay? Then there must be a base year. If I'm comparing that we have increased to 7%, then what is the reference year? So I would say 2012 is the reference year. Okay? So what we are saying, if we are saying that we have improved our GDP by 7%, it means in 2015 as compared to 2012, that is the base year, that is a reference point, we have improved our economy by 7%. This is what the base year means. This is how base year act as a reference point. So now we know. Okay? So now if see, if we had a, for an example, let me tell you, in 2012 we had a development of, for example, 10%. Okay? In 2015 we have a development of 15%. Okay? Then now we are calculating the progress that we have done in the year 2022. Now see, if we had a 20% of development, okay, GDP development. Now, if we'll have a base year of 2012, we can call that our economy has improved by 10%. Now, see, our economy has improved by 10% in the last 10 years. That is a huge development. We would say, as compared to our base year, I'm not letting you know the base year. I'm just saying, as compared to our base year, our economy has improved by 10%. So, anyone who don't know the concept of base year will think, okay, we have improved a lot. But if I would say, if I'll take 2015 as my base year, okay, then I would say, as compared to base year, my economy has only increased by 5%. Now see, the difference is 5%. The difference is 5%. Enough? So from here, if a person don't know the significance of base year, or if that person is not having any idea of base year, then he or she might be thinking, oh, only 5% of development. Oh, that's a very less development. Earlier it was good, it was 10%. So this is the impact of base year. Just by altering the base year, you can play with the data. Okay? So in economics, the base year is the year chosen as a reference point for comparing economic data over time. It serves as a benchmark year against which values like GDP, CPI, WPI, or other price quantity indices are measured. The base year is assigned an index value of 100 and future values are compared relative to it. It helps distinguish between nominal changes, that is, changes due to price fluctuation, and real changes, actual growth in output or consumption. How does it make sense? Let me tell you. Now, see, in 2021, we were producing one pen. Okay? We were producing one pen for 10 rupees. In 2022, we are producing one pen for 20 rupees. Now, see, if now we are taking in a scenario when an economy is only generating a single pen as its output. Okay? Now I would say my GDP. GDP is what? GDP is the total output that we produce in a single financial year or in a single period of time. We are calculating in for the year 2021. So I would say in 2021 the GDP was 10 rupees. In 2022 the GDP was 20 rupees. Now see, GDP has got doubled. GDP has got doubled. In value terms, I would say, our GDP got doubled for this particular country or for this particular area. But in reality, production is same. We are still producing a single pen, but just the price has got increased because of inflation. We are calling it GDP, jump in GDP. But if we compare the 2022 GDP while keeping the value in head that was in 2021, we will call it GDP is only rupees 10 while we are having 2021 as a base year. Okay? So this is what real changes is. Real, we haven't increased our GDP. There is no increase in our GDP because we have taken the value, the price of pen that was in the 2021, because still we are producing a single pen. Just because of inflation, the price of that pen has increased from rupees 10 to rupees 20. It doesn't mean that our GDP has increased. In value terms, uh, it might seem inflated one. Okay, you can see that inflation is there. That is the only reason our GDP grown from 10 rupees to 20 rupees. In reality, The real prices of 2021, if you take, then GDP is still there. We are only producing single penny in our economy. There is no significant or there is no real growth in our economy. Okay? This is how the base year makes makes you a tool, provides you a tool to distinguish between nominal changes and real changes. So as of now, if you see for GDP, the GDP predictions that we have, the base year is financial year 12. For CPI, base year is financial year 12, and for wholesale price index, the the base year is still financial year 12. So do remember, for CPI, W and GDP, for all these specific and important data that we have for our economy, the base year is financial year 12. Now let me tell you what is GDP. So it represents the final value of goods and services produced within a country's border during a specific period, usually a year. The same thing I told you. Significance. Now it is a key indicator of economic health, growth, and development. It reflects the overall economic performance of a nation, but it can be a flawed one. In the example just we saw that how just by playing with the base year we can change the economic performance, or the view, at least a view of economic performance. Not the real economic performance is going to be the same, but the view we can alter just by altering the base year. Now, forms of GDP. A nominal GDP measured at current market price. So if, let me give you another example, 2021, okay, and then 2022, we are producing a single pen. Here also we are producing a single pen. The price was rupees 10. Here the price was rupees 20. Then, as I gave you an example, the assumption we are taking that we are only producing a single pen in our economy. GDP is 1 into 10 is equal to rupees 10. Here the GDP is 1 into 20, rupees 20 is the GDP. Okay? Now, we are calculating here GDP on the basis of prices that was prevalent in that particular year. That was the year 2022. So we call it the nominal GDP. Okay? Now, real GDP means when we adjust the inflation. Now, here we can see that as of now as well, our economy is only producing a single pen. Earlier, it was priced at rupees 10. Now, because of inflation, it is priced at rupees 20. Because of that inflation only, we are seeing a jump in our GDP, overall GDP calculation. So, if we calculate GDP, while prices of 2021 keeping in head, we call it one pen, rupees 10 is equal to rupees 10. This is the real GDP. Okay? And this is the nominal GDP. So this is a nominal and real GDP. GDP per capita means GDP divided by population indicated average income. It means whatever GDP is, and then you will divide it by the number of people you are having. You will get the GDP per capita. Then GDP PPP, purchasing power parity. Based on purchasing power parity allows cross country comparison of living standard. Okay? This is what GDP is all about. Now, what is the index of industrial production? Because for IIP as well, government is uh, government is trying to change the base year. Okay? Now, definition. It measures the short-term growth of industrial activity. Okay? Industries or manufacturing sector is a you can say one of the major part of our economy. Okay? If we bifurcate our economy, then the secondary activities, all the secondary activities of our economy comprises the industrial and manufacturing production. Okay? So this is extremely important. Now, definition. It measures short-term growth of industrial activity compiled by National Statistics Office of Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Base year is financial year 12. Do remember it. Coverage. It covers mining, manufacturing, and electricity. The weightages of different sector is this much. Importance. It is an indicator of industrial performance, input for GDP estimation, and guides policy decisions. Then what is consumer price index? Because government is trying to revise this base years as well. So it measures the inflation at retail level. So this is the inflation that we see. Whatever the inflation we are in concern with as an individual or as an individual consumer, whatever the inflation we are in concern with is a consumer price index combined. Okay? This is the only inflation that we should be in concern with, because this is the inflation that impacts us directly. This is the retail level of inflation. We call it consumer price index. It also get calculated by National Statistical Office of Ministry of Statistics. Base year is financial year 12 only. Release date 12th of every month. Coverage, it covers 299 items. Okay? And these 299 items are those items that got consumed by an individual consumer. That is you and me. Okay? Now this is the different categories. We always call that CPI and WPI got calculated on a basket of goods. So this is the, in that particular basket, this is the number of items, and this is the weightage of different items. The highest weightage goes with the food and beverages, and the least weightage goes with the pan, tobacco, and intoxicants. Then base year, I have already explained you. Now what is the impact of base year? So it is a benchmark for comparison. I told you it helps you in inflation adjustment. I explained you this as well. So this is the nominal changes and the real growth, actual output. When we adjust the inflation, we come across the real output. It help you in accuracy and relevance. Okay? It will provide you an accurate data at least. If I tell you in 2021 my GDP was rupees 10, in 2022 my GDP is rupees 20, then obviously if a person is not having an idea of base year, that person will get confused. That person will get confused, and he or she might think that their GDP has got doubled just in a single year. But that's not the reality. If you adjust the inflation, you will realize it. The accurate and relevant data is that we haven't done anything well in our economy. It's just the inflation that has inflated our GDP calculation. So it provides you an accurate and relevant data. Policy implication, obviously, when the accurate data you will get, you will make better decision in policy making. Comparability, you can compare your data, okay, with the other countries, or in our country only with the specific timelines. Now the base year affects how growth, inflation, and economic performance appear on paper. That's why, as that, this is what I said. Base year, just by playing with the base year, you can completely change the performance on paper of an economy. Frequent revision every 5 to 10 years ensure that the indicators reflect the current structure of the economy, and this is what government is doing to reflect current economy, to improve accuracy, remove obsolete items, capture new trends, better policy decision, and for better international comparability. This is what I said over here, that the when you calculate your data on the basis of a base year, it helps you in comparison. Okay? Same thing they are saying over here as well, that with the revision of base year, your economy will reflect the status of the situation of current economy. It improves accuracy, it removes obsolete items, it captures new trends, it makes you a better, it makes you available the tools or the data that will help you in better policy decisions and international comparability. Okay? Now, revision of base year. So this is the most important data. The Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has framed a government of India has established a committee. Okay? And the purpose was to capture structural changes in the economy and to update the methodology and data sources. Proposed new base year and the new revised GDP data series is expected to released on Feb 27th, 2026. So just after, you can say, after 5 to 6 months, you can see the revised GDP data on the basis of new base year. For GDP, the new base year is financial year 23. For the index of industrial production, the new base year is financial year 23, and for the consumer price index, the new base year is financial year 24. Okay? So this was the whole agenda of the day. We try to understand what is base year, what are these different indexes, that the IIP, CPI, and the GDP. What is this? Fundamental concepts are all about. Then we also discussed what is the base year, and then we saw the new proposed base year for all these data sets and indexes. Okay? So thank you so much for joining today's live session. And if you want to download this data for free of cost, you can download our app from Google Play Store, and from there you can download all this data for free of cost. If you have any queries in regards to this data, or in regards to the paid courses or paid data that we provide on our platform, then you can contact on this number, and over there our academic counselor will give you a proper will proper answers of your doubts. Okay, all of your doubts will get coinced over here. So do reach out to this number if you have any kind of data, any kind of query or question in regards to this data, or whatever the paid courses and paid data we provide on our platform. If you have any queries, do reach out to this number. Our academic counselor will give you a proper response as soon as possible. Till then, have a great day ahead. Bye.